Hello, welcome to this update for parts of Australia. So let's see what's happening because we have a very wet week ahead, many areas because of many showers and thunderstorms. So it does show Monday there were a lot of thunderstorms today in many parts of northern Australia, not areas, but now for Tuesday it does show more storms parts of southeastern Australia, especially northern Australia this afternoon, Tuesday, and more like through South Australia and parts of Queensland. And then Wednesday still shows a very wet day. Wednesday afternoon near uh, Victoria, New South Wales, with that front and more storms, shows more storms in the north as well, in northwestern Australia. This goes there. And does show Thursday some heavier storms in Northern Territory and parts of Queensland. Friday, still the European model shows some heavier storms in Northern Australia, especially in Queensland, and shows that this big front in like New South Wales, Tasmania, and Queensland like Friday and Saturday, the 30th, shows more rain there. And Sunday, the 1st, does show some rain in southwestern Australia, a little bit of rain, and still some storms in northern Australia and eastern Australia, and then the pattern calms down a little bit. So throughout next week shows less storms, but does show some storms on the east, on like early December, like the December 5th or something, but it calms down a little bit. But be aware this week there. So there's the rain accumulation until Tuesday, like until tonight, shows that rain Victoria, some areas shows more than 68 millimeters accumulation, 61, some more throughout New South Wales and South Australia, and shows more scattered thunderstorms some areas of Northern Territory this afternoon, and now until Wednesday shows more there throughout Northern Territory, some areas close to 80 millimeters in some areas because of those thunderstorms, but especially like in Victoria, climbs all the way to 115 millimeters. So be aware those areas Wednesday, some heavier storms. Other parts of Victoria might have some rain, and even some storms in Tasmania show some 74 millimeters and more rain there. And the Northern Territory still those scattered storms. So you see some areas of the west are very dry and some parts of the east less, but there's this corridor here of heavier storms. So be aware if you are in those areas. And then until Friday morning, it increases even more than the Northern Territory shows all the way to 125 millimeters in some areas, 116, and all those areas there of Western Queensland shows a lot through central Western Queensland into New South Wales, and Victoria shows more, and still that 113 millimeters in parts of Victoria, and Tasmania until Friday does show like 102 millimeters, 90 millimeters some parts of Tasmania. So be careful those areas, some parts of South Australia. And now if I put this until Sunday morning, does show more from Queensland because of that front on Saturday, the 30th, shows all the 155 millimeters, the European model, and it has like northern Queensland, some areas close to like 174 millimeters because of some heavier storms, and some other parts of Queensland has all the way to like 179 millimeters. But Northern Territory will be the area the most abundance of thunderstorms, some heavier storms there, and more for like northern Territory, those areas in northern Western Australia as well. Be aware of the storms there, so be careful. Now the GFS is a little bit different. It has like a lot through New South Wales and Victoria, some 100 millimeters in some areas, but it has a little bit less than the European in many areas. There's like some 65 millimeters, some 71, and even to 91 millimeters in the Northern Territory and northern Western Australia. But yeah, and it has some more in Tasmania too. the excess does have a lot in the Northern Territory, just like the European. In the next 5 days, it has all the way to like 180 millimeters in the Northern Territory, 177, 150. So please be careful with those heavy downpours there, and like some very heavy rain might cause some flooding problems. And does show in Queensland those like heavier storms, the excess is like more than 100 millimeters in some areas of central Queensland. It does have some on the coast, but very little compared to the interior areas. It does have some parts of southeast near Canberra and some areas. New South Wales even to 200 millimeters. That's too much, I think, but you never know. Near Canberra has like 112, 126 millimeters, and in other areas of Victoria like 139 millimeters in those areas. In South Australia, the icon does have a little bit less. The icon is just 20 millimeters in Canberra, and the other model like 126. So these models vary a lot. There's a big difference between them, but the icon shows more northeastern Victoria, 130 millimeters, New South Wales 132. In some areas, it does have some crazy lines of storms throughout Queensland and northern New South Wales, more than 100 millimeters, and some other parts of New South Wales, especially throughout the next Friday and Saturday. So this is until Thursday, and this is until Saturday for New South Wales. It does have more Western Queensland too and Northern Territory, but not as much as the European model and and, and the other ones. So be aware those areas. Just a quick thunderstorm outlook for Tuesday today. So does shows some thunderstorms possible in the light green, some parts of Western Australia to like Queensland, New South Wales, some storms possible, and thunderstorms likely in much of the light green. So be aware much of Northern Australia into like southeastern Australia in many areas. And the yellow is like severe thunderstorms possible. So especially this afternoon, Tuesday shows some severe thunderstorms possible. South Australia into Northern Territory and parts of New South Wales and Victoria. So be careful. This can have like hail and very strong gusts of wind and some heavy rain and flash flooding. And now Wednesday still shows some thunderstorms possible in the green, even to Western Australia and all the way to Tasmania, and more thunderstorms likely in the light green throughout northern Australia and some areas there, and severe thunderstorms possible all the way from Western Australia to northern New South Wales. And then they have some severe thunderstorms likely in northeast northern Victoria. So this means that there's a very high chance of some severe storms there with hail, severe wind, and some very heavy rainfall. So be careful for Wednesday in Victoria there, and even severe thunderstorm or two likely or possible in parts of northern Tasmania and some areas. So be careful those areas. And now let's see. There's like the GFS, the different view, but here. So let's see. So just to show the differences, so the GFS does have those storms as well. Scared this afternoon, even parts of Victoria, right? South Australia shows there through South Australia, especially central areas, some those severe thunderstorms possible, and northern Australia those storms. Then Wednesday does show that front there has some heavier storms New South Wales and Victoria, and still those scared heavy downpours throughout Northern Territory and Queensland in the afternoon. This coast still shows some storms at night, especially Northern Territory and Queensland. And Thursday shows some storms in Queensland and Northern Territory. Friday shows a lot throughout Queensland and New South Wales. And then later Friday into Saturday, the GFS that big from there, like 999 low pressure system. This might dump a lot of heavy rain in those areas and head Saturday towards Tasmania in some areas. Then it comes down later next week, but still some storms in the north. So yeah, be aware. There's the access too. Shows Uh, this afternoon, Tuesday, some heavier storms to South Australia, potentially those severe ones, a severe storm or two, New South Wales, those areas there, shows those scare storms, Northern Territory and those areas. This goes. And then Wednesday shows more, some heavier storms, Northern Territory and Queensland, Western Queensland and Victoria, New South Wales, shows those stronger storms in Victoria, potentially some severe ones, especially northeastern Victoria. Later Wednesday night still shows some storms there, but Thursday morning, like Thursday afternoon already, that this will be some heavier storms in the Northern Territory and Queensland, still some stuff near New South Wales, but yeah, Friday shows more throughout Queensland and northern New South Wales, and shows more storms than Northern Territory Friday afternoon. Friday night, still some throughout central Queensland, this model shows, and like Saturday shows that bigger fronts there, like New South Wales, and some more rain throughout Queensland and Northern Territory. And later Saturday, the storms continue New South Wales and those areas, and this low pressure system leaves there, and might affect northern Tasmania and some areas. On Sunday, even shows some stuff near southeastern Queensland and those storms in the north still. So yeah, be careful those areas. There's this other model here too. The Canadian model does have those storms like today and Wednesday, parts of South Australia, Victoria, and those heavier downpours in Northern Territory and Queensland there. So be aware. Shows like Friday that system organizing some heavier storms Queensland, New South Wales, and Saturday there that bigger system New South Wales and those areas. So be careful with those storms. And here there are the warnings for Australia. So they have some marine warnings, some areas with gusty winds. They do have some severe thunderstorm warnings some areas, so they always have these warnings here for the severe thunderstorm. So you can always check here. This link is in the description. It does show some road alerts in some areas and more stuff here. And all those flood warnings, moderate flood warning for some rivers there. So you can check here for the river warnings and flood warnings as well. There are also some heat wave warnings. Even New South Wales has a moderate slight heat wave there, and it shows not areas too. So be careful in those areas. And here, wait, here, let, let's see if this loads. If not, okay. But it does show too in other areas that system in southern Fiji with the heavier storms, the southern islands of Fiji. And be careful there. Even today, throughout Tuesday, some more storms near Fiji and some in southern French Polynesia, like Rai, Rua, Mataura, and not areas, so be aware there. Tuesday, this goes still some lingering storms, French Polynesia. Wednesday, this goes there, shows more storms just lingering around Fiji Thursday into Friday, so be aware. And still shows some stuff near Fiji and those areas, northern Vanuatu and Solomon Islands. So in terms of rain accumulation until next Sunday, does show southern Fiji, some spots of Tonga close to 100 millimeters, so be careful with flooding there too. And shows like Mataura and other areas there close to 136 millimeters. In other parts of like southern French Polynesia and some other parts of the Cook Islands. So the Europeans like 172 millimeters parts of the Cook Islands. The GFS is just 63, and the Icos has 66, and Amuri some others of 123, 91 the GFS, and 59 the European. So these models are quite different, but there's the general forecast calls for more showers and storms passing later this week, especially throughout the Cook Islands, and those ones linger around for French Polynesia there. So be careful in those areas too, and stay safe. So let's see, this loaded a little bit, but let's see if it loads further. So now the heat, there's still the dangerous heat in parts of Queensland, New South Wales, some 38 degrees, even 39. But as that front comes, it might get less hot, and parts of south and western Australia still to 40 degrees, 42 Marble Bar, 41, so somewhere 39. So yeah, be aware Western Australia with a more dangerous heat. Some mountains of the south a little bit less, but it's very hot near like New South Wales. Along the coast, some 20s like in Sydney, but just west of it shows like 35 in the interior areas. So be aware. At night shows like 11 degrees in Tasmania, 10 in parts of southwestern Australia. The next day still pretty hot in parts of eastern Queensland and New South Wales, especially the interior areas and Western Australia. Then this goes Thursday, still shows some valleys of Western Australia, close to 41 to 42 degrees. So be careful. And yeah, this goes there. So be aware. And be aware of those severe thunderstorms. They might have very strong winds within themselves, but it doesn't show here. These are just the general wind gusts, not associated with the storm. So like some 72 km per gust, South Australia today, Tuesday, later into Wednesday, as the system continues, some gusts in South Australia, and then shows Friday, Saturday, might have some gusty winds on the coast and the ocean with that system Saturday and Sunday, and maybe a little bit breezier Western Australia after December 1st, especially South Australia December 2nd or something there, the European model shows. So yeah, be aware. The GFS has a similar thing, but a little bit lower. And New Zealand, the rain accumulation until Saturday does show some rain southwestern New Zealand and some other areas. The European does have some more southwestern New Zealand, so be aware there. Snow, not really in this next week, and after that, maybe that doesn't really show anything. So be aware the temperature is still mild to chilly in the mountains, especially in the higher elevations, but some spots in the north almost to 24 degrees in the afternoon. So yeah, and those fronts shows some rain southwestern New Zealand there, and some showers in other areas maybe. And after that system leaves Australia, we might need to watch New Zealand again. So be aware. And now it's loaded. This is the Canadian model accumulation till Saturday. Does shows those heavier downpours Northern Territory, Northern Western Australia, and Western Queensland there. Those areas of white are more than 100 millimeters. Those white areas there. Even into Victoria, more than 100 millimeters. It shows in parts of New South Wales. So be careful with those storms and stay safe.